Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Cardboard Dragon Reviews, the video review series designed to teach you board game as if you're sitting at the table with me, as well as provide a review on the game in hopes of helping you decide if that game is right for you. Today we are taking a look at For Sale, which is an auctioning card game for 3 to 6 players, takes about 20 minutes to play, and it's recommended for ages 8 and up. In this game we are going to be auctioning and bidding for various properties, all the way from a cardboard box to a space station, in hopes of buying low and selling high. And whoever has the most money at the end of the game is the winner. So let me go ahead and show you how to play For Sale. Alright, so the first thing we need to do to set up For Sale is to get our money and our decks sorted out. So the way you do this changes depending on the number of players you're playing with. So I have it set up for a 3-player game right here, but with 3 or 4 players, you give each player 2 of these $2,000 coins, and then you also give them 14 $1,000 coins. Okay? In a 5 to 6 player game, each person gets 2 of the $2,000 coins, and they get 10 of the $1,000 coins. Okay? And then if you're playing with less than 5 players, so a 3 or 4 player game, we're going to have to take some of the cards out of these 2 decks here. So if we are playing in a 3-player game, we have to take out 6 cards randomly from each of these decks. So that would be shuffling them out and just dealing out 6 cards off the top, okay, from both of these decks. Alright. In a 4-player game, we have to take out 2 from each of these decks. And once we have the money set up and we have the decks dealt with, we're ready to go. In a 5 and 6 player game, you play with all the cards. I should mention that. So the game is basically going to occur in 2 phases. The first phase, we're going to be using this green deck. And this green deck is filled with properties ranging in value from 1 all the way to 30. Here we have a number 3. Higher numbers are always better. You'd always want a higher number property. So we can see, I showed you at the beginning, but the number 30 is the highest, and that's a space station, compared to the number 3 you saw earlier, which was a manhole. A sewer. I guess you could be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle if you wanted to. But so the first half we're going to be buying these. In the second half, we have this deck here, which is basically, you can think of them like checks. This is basically people buying the properties off you. So if you're playing with the full deck, there's going to be 2 of each of the values, and the values range from 0, so nothing, to the maximum of $15,000. Now there are no 1,000s. So there's 2 zeros, 2 twos, 2 threes, 2 fours, and so on. And of course, if you're playing with 3 or 4 players, some of those numbers won't be in there, but you won't know which ones they are. So the way the game works is you flip over cards equal to the number of players there are. Okay? So we have a 3-player game set up here, so I'll flip over 3 properties. And I just like to arrange them in some line order from lowest to highest. So we have a 2, a 5, and a 12. Then one of the players, who we will have the starting player, needs to make a bid, or they can also pass. So when you're bidding, you can put out any amount of money. So let's say they bid 1,000. Then it comes to the next player here, who can either pass or upbid them. So we're going to have them upbid them by $1 more $1,000, and same with this player. He's also going to upbid by $1 more $1,000. So then it loops back around to this player. Do they want to upbid? So it would be $4,000 would be the bid they would have to make at minimum. They could go as high as they wanted to. Or they can pass. So let's say that they are going to upbid once more. Okay, so they will bring it to $4,000 total. On to this player, they're going to pass. So what happens when you pass is if you have any money out onto the table, you lose half of it. Okay, so they would lose 1,000, and you take half back. and then you get the lowest card on the table. So they get the 2, and you put it face down in front of you. Okay, now there are different versions of For Sale. The version I have has a rounding down mechanism, so when you take your money back, it doesn't come back to you in your favor. So this player here, as an example, is going to pass now. They have $3,000 on the table, so they get to take the lowest card on the table, put it face down in front of them, and then they lose half their money, but not rounded in their favor. So they only get to take back 1,000 of these dollars, and they lose the 2,000 to the bank. So only this player is left here. They lose all of their money and take the highest valued card. Okay, and that's basically the first half of the game. And so we would continue now dealing out 3 more of these cards, or however many cards are equal to the number of players you have, and we would go through the round again, starting with the player who took the biggest card, which was this player here in our example. So they would make an opening bid. Now they could pass right now and just take this 8 without having to pay anything. There are certain times you might want to do that. If you don't have money, for instance, you're going to have to do that. But the thing to keep in mind is that we're going to be flipping these and selling them in a minute, but the absolute most you can get is $15,000. So you need to keep that in mind so you don't go crazy bidding, because we have a big deck of cards to get through too. So the way they have it worked out, the whole deck of cards is going to be worked through, and everybody will have the same number of properties at the end of that. So again, we would just do another round of bidding. Everybody would take one of these. Some people lose some money. Maybe. You could all pass if you really wanted to. And then once this whole deck is gone through, we move on to the next phase, which is with these blue cards. Okay, so let's do that here. We'll say we're on to the next phase. Now, how this phase works is fairly similar. We flip over 3 of these equal to, 3 because we're playing with 3 players. It's whatever is equal to the number of players you have playing. And we set these out. We can see we have an 11,000, a 7,000, and a 2,000. So what this means is somebody's going to sell one of their houses, one of their properties, for 11,000. Somebody's going to sell one for 7, and somebody's going to sell one for 2. So the way we determine this now is each player picks one of their cards and sets it face down in front of them for now. This is all in secret. And then we reveal them at the same time. Okay. So it's very simple. You're only going to see part of the cards here, but that's okay. We have the 21, an 8, or sorry, 14 and an 8. So whoever put the highest property gets the highest value sale. So the 21 is the highest out of these 3. So they get the 11,000. Then the second highest card is the 14. They get the 7,000. And these go back to their owners. And the person who played the 8 is the lowest value property. They get the 2,000. Okay? And those all go back to their owners. And we do this, and it's going to work out evenly that you're going to sell every one of your cards, and we're going to keep doing this until all the blue cards are burned through. And then once all the blue cards are gone, everybody sold all their houses, we add up each player's check cards or currency cards here. We add up any extra money they might have left over, and whoever has the most at the end of the game wins. One other rule, and I couldn't do it here for this video, is you're supposed to be keeping your money hidden at all times from all players. And that lets you bluff them out a little bit, especially in the bidding rounds. All right, and I believe that's it for sale. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my final thoughts on the game. All right, final thoughts for sale. This is a really interesting game for me. I had wanted to pick it up for a long time since I started getting into board games, actually, because I heard it was really good. But I was unable to get a copy for quite some time. It seems like they've reprinted this. I saw these at 2 local game stores recently, and I snatched one up when I saw it. And I have to say, this is a pretty special game. I think it's an older game, I believe from the late 90s, and it's still around today. It takes about 20 minutes to play. I think if you get comfortable with the rules with this game, you could probably pound it out in even less time. And I think just about anybody can play this game and understand. And once you start playing, you start realizing what's special about this game is there's actually a fair amount of bluffing and kind of risk management. And it's all in a 20-minute frame. I was looking through my collection of games that played in a similar amount of time. Nothing even comes close to the amount of fun I have playing For Sale in the 20 to 30 minute range. This game is excellent. It's so simple. It is so simple, but there's so much strategy. There's so much to think about. You're bluffing people, you know, and I just have this set out here. It could end up that people sell a value 12 house for as much as you sold your value 30 house for. That can happen in this game. So there's some random elements to it, but it's all about like risk management. And I played this game with the minimum amount of people, 3, and I played it with the maximum 6. And I like both evenly. It's interesting in a lower count game that you don't know exactly what cards are in your deck. So that makes things interesting. But it's also interesting in a 6-player game to know that you're guaranteed to have 2 $15,000 cards and 2 0 value cards. And the 30 is definitely going to come out at some point, and so is the 1. But it's really interesting to see, for instance, in games we played, it's been a 12, a 14, and a 15 come out. Or maybe both 15s come out at once or something like that. And if you're holding a 2, you know, this is an incredible situation for you because you're going to get minimum $12,000 out of a 2, the second lowest card in the game. So it's really interesting. It's pretty exciting to see stuff like that happen. And I just really love this game. This is one of the best filler games that I have. Probably the best that plays in 20 minutes and plays this amount of people. And it's very simple. It's very simple. I think anybody could play this game. So it's an 8 out of 10 for me. I think it could probably climb to a 9. It's not going to get a 10, and again, I feel like I reiterate this on every video. 10s are for more deep games for me, and that's just a personal thing. This game is fantastic. If you do not have this game and you're looking for something easy to play or a filler game that plays 6 people, and I think it plays the lower numbers equally as well, I highly suggest you pick this up. It's very affordable. And man, I'm so glad I got this. This blows away all the other filler games I have in my collection. So that's For Sale. 8 out of 10 for me. Highly recommended. So this has been Chris for Cardboard Dragon Reviews. Like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll get out some more content here soon. It's been a busy month for me, but things are slowing down now for sure, so I'll be able to make some more videos. So like and subscribe, and let me know if you have any feedback. And until next time, keep your dice on the table.